Hello there, everyone. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm a little wonky today, so I did everything backwards. We are going to be returning to Versali-Virai in today's stream. That is the major city that we've been working on, and it's the one that primarily it's the one that my D&D group is spending the most of their time in. So we are looking at that. Really, we're looking at places that they've never had to go to in today's map. So we'll just have a little bit of fun with it, see what we can do. One of the things that you'll see right away, though, is I'm crafting the actual kind of shape of things, knowing ahead of time what I'm doing instead of kind of throwing things together in Inkarnate by itself. We've got the maps from Inkarnate of sessions past, and some wonky stuff was going on that we're going to have to fix, I'm sure. But notably, what you'll see is our tavern map says the King's Charter, and this was the blacksmith site in the second map that we made in Versali-Virai, and then this right down here was called Junction, but I didn't bring over the stamp. This, what you see right here, is not actually the map. I just moved over a stamp so we could kind of pinpoint what everything should look like. So with that in mind, let's head back to the Excel spreadsheet, and I'll show you what I'm doing in order to kind of put together what I think we need. You'll notice right away that the fortifications that we have, they're not following the alignment that we have in the parchment or anything like that. That was just to make life a little bit easier for us. We may try and do some fun stuff, like we've got like the little circle piece in this building. I think we're going to make this a tent, similar to what we had for the blacksmith. The blacksmith was one of these two, doesn't matter. And then we'll just fill out the rest of this area over here. I don't know necessarily that we're going to have enough room for all of these, but we're going to give it a try and then see. It might be a situation where we see when the wall starts to move back up. We could. It's quite possible, because I'm looking at this now, and there's only two buildings to the left of that building that we had right there. So let's give it a try and see what we got. Nothing is right against the barricades themselves. So what we'll do is kind of fill that out. And what we might end up doing is the King's Charter down below, which you can see here. We've still got a couple of other houses that need to go off. So we definitely need stuff to be filled in here a little bit. So, but we might change it up a smidge where, we'll add a couple more buildings than what we see in the image over there, and then have this start our way up or something like that. We'll have to kind of play it by ear. And we might even go over this map. It's weird. We're calling it Inkarnate. I'm hoping to get some Inkarnate done. But really the focus right now is just making sure that we have everything that we need as far as the map making goes. So we know here we're going to have something like, have kind of like a 2x4, and then we'll do there. We're gonna actually do it up here, and that way we can do kind of like a little storage area over here. And then this is going to be like mostly like a municipal area, so like a lot of administrative buildings and things like that. We want to give this a little bit of room to breathe over here, and then we've got, we'll just do kind of like a 3x3, and let's do something like this instead. And then what we'll do is, there's no tree on the map, but we're going to put a tree or flowers or something over here, some kind of greenery. And then let's fill in the spots so that we don't get lost along the way. I didn't really need to do it that way. I could just do it like this. weird noise outside. All right, and then we got one more building that we definitely have to do, and that is this one over here. Not a sizable gap or anything like that, so we'll make the gap. So we'll do 2, 1 over. It sounded like a dog got kicked. Hopefully everything's okay. Do something like this. Give it kind of like a boot look, and see, the thing is, you can't do like a half or anything like that. I don't know necessarily that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to put it here for now, and then we'll see if I can remember to make that like a different kind of, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll just get rid of it. I don't like it. So we'll do something like that, and then we're going to need more buildings over here. Unless we just build out. So let's try that instead. Get that one building here. Let me think. So the idea is that you're supposed to like see this town like brushing up against some cliffs and stuff like that. Let's build one more building. And this is supposed to be like right up against the cliff. Let's see. Yeah, I want one more building. And this will not be the administrative building. This will be something a little different. Let's, before we do anything there, let's do this. So we're going to do 3, 1, extra 2, do 3 up, over, oop. And rather than have that look like a laser beam coming off the side, we're just going to do something like that. And we've got another building that's kind of like that up here. Maybe we'll build it off to the side and do a smaller one instead. So we've got one like this. Let's do it over here. Okay, and then we've got that one other building that we have to do. And that one's kind of a weird one. So let's just do 2 of these, and then we'll move that over. So same general concept as that one over there. Oop. So we've got a couple of big buildings here, some buildings with some smaller things over here. Let's try and think of something over here. Maybe we can do like the captain of the guards or something like that. Let's do, we've got a barracks somewhere else in the city. Let's try something a little different real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to have what we're going to do is still going to grab this, but we're actually going to start it over here, and we will grab that, build it up 5 now, 5, this one here and have it go like that. And then it terminates into the cliff after that. So how do we want to do the cliff? What kind of scheme do we want to try and calculate that? We're going to do some kind of like tan-ish color. And then we have to have a fill of some sort. Let's go into format cells, go to the fill, and go to the pattern style. Okay. Now, on the map itself, if I bring this over, you can see the cliff kind of manufactures off the side of there, but we've got a little bit more coming down. So, say that is there. I might even add a little bit more. Something like that. And then let's just do the fill, and then we'll do the pattern again up there. So we're trying to get the idea that it like starts to shift off to the side, and for we're gonna do tree up there, and then on that map over there we'll get another tree. Let's do this. So we're going to use a similar color for this, but I don't want it to be 100% the same. And let's do this. So that's how we know that that's going to terminate down that way. And let's see, so we've got, that's the regular one. We'll go a little darker to, well, you know, maybe we go lighter to indicate that we're higher up. And over here, start to move that down a bit. All right, that right there is where we would end that. And let's see, what else do we got over here? So we've got, oh, we wanted to do the tent, and we didn't end up doing the tent, I don't think. We could do, let's do the tent up here, and then we'll have the bigger building down here. And what we'll try and do over here is, that's a 6x6, so that's good. We'll do, maybe that's like a meeting chamber or something like that. We can have our version of like a round table. So we'll do outside borders, and then up here we'll do, I'll just get the, we'll do a tent of some sort. Perfect. All right, I actually think, unless we're talking about doing something with this building over here, Right, we've got the tree. That moved up. We've got some weird stuff over here. We definitely angled things differently. Below the well, there's a tree, but we moved the tree over here. I'll tell you what, let's do... So the well was going to be here, and there was going to be like some kind of silo. Maybe instead of the silo there, we put it here. Doesn't make sense for it to be a fountain. I'm just doing a different color scheme so that we can see what's going on with it. Alright, and at that point, I think we're good. So just fill in everything so that I know what I'm looking at when I cut this over to Inkarnate, and then we'll start to build some stuff out. And actually, before we get too far into Versali-Virai and the map, I might take a step back out just so that I can show you the work that we put into the floating islands, because I'm very happy with what we did there. All right, let's save that, move that over. Back out of here, and we'll come back in. So the floating islands, we ended up yesterday closing up most of the map. And you'll notice one of the things that we did is I added a couple of things of flocking here and there. So we did some stones, we did some bushes, we cracked the area around this. The map in one of the variants crapped out on me, and I had to work on it again to get it back into good shape. But I managed to, it wasn't working in Chrome. I ended up fixing it in Firefox. Firefox did the trick for me. And I will show you what those ones look like too. So this one here, I think, is the one that I'm really proud of. I did a 3x3 version of a map, so it would have been 120 by 60, and that wasn't big enough, so I tripled that as well. So we had 180, what was it, 360 by 180, and that's what you have back here, all blurred out and everything like that. And then used kind of like a lighter blue color to draw over what we had, pretty much the sky texture that we have, just lightened up and contrasted up and dialed back as far as opacity to give us kind of like this smoky, cloudy look. And I feel like it really kind of adds a little bit of character to what you see. And then this next map is the one that crapped out on me for whatever reason. Really, the only thing that I wanted to do was add kind of like a sunset kind of feel. So you can see like everything's awash in like a nice orange light. And then we added some god rays and things like that. And then I changed the intensity of the shadows so that it looked like they were being cast a little bit further away than they usually are. And for whatever reason, every time I was saving it, it was completely wiping out whatever I had. So I had to kind of recreate the inside here, and it looks, if you see what we've got going on with the map here, it looks like it was doing a lot of the same thing here as it was there. And it's just maybe Chrome is sucking up so much RAM these days that it was clobbering the system. So you can see this didn't need to be here. If I go in and start to add, I mean, it's already there. Like, I don't really understand the notion of what was happening there, but it should be okay once I save it. In theory, we'll have to play with it and see what happens. But at least in the meantime, we know there's certain things that we can do here to start working. So let's do this. We know that we've got a gap of 2 here, and then we're going to drop these 4. And let's see, I can't tell if it's this one or not. Nope. It has to be on the foreground. All right, that's the right one, so that's good. And then we know we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. think elsewhere we've changed the angle of that. So we'll do that here too. And then we go 5 and 3. So we'll do. You can see here we've kind of given ourselves like a little bump, so we'll do that here too. Maybe we'll do it both ways. And then here. And that's going to overlook over here. So let's see in the meantime what we can do. I might grab some cliffs just to put them down, just to see what we can do. We've got these cliffs here that we'll use. We'll bump it up to 30. Now these are going to be underneath the foreground to some extent, because we are going to use the walls, like the palisades and everything, to kind of help us make these kind of fade in a little bit. And let's see. We'll do something like this too. Maybe we'll go for a smaller one. Let's grab some of these walls real quick. There's our one. You see a little bit of that comes through, so we need to. This actually might be a case for when we can use these small ones. You jerk. And let's do. It's supposed to be on top, it's supposed to be underneath. And one last set. Actually, what we'll do is we've got this guy here. And I kind of want it to be the other way. So let's do a flip. Perfect. And let's save just to make sure that we're good after making those adjustments. So we know once it gets up to this next little gap that we're going to have to do some stuff up there. Perfect right there. And if we leave that little gap right there, it looks like that's intentional. And we can do another set down here. Give it a little bit of a sense of depth. I think that was good. very rare that I like those ones. Alright, so that comes out to about there. But only the second one, so we have to go a little bit smaller with that one. Push that upwards a little bit because this is where another building is going to be. And let's see. So this one keeps going up. Got 1, 2, and then this is where we start to get our 6x6. So let's do this. We didn't do anything crazy there. We didn't do anything crazy there, so we might not go too nuts with the color schemes. But let's grab the brush tool, working in the foreground still. That is, I believe, that right there. So we're going to use this one for the inside. So 1, 2, and then 3 is where it starts. Again, I think it's a 6x6. So if we put it here, then we just need to wall that off. And then actually need to throw one more thing over here. There we go. That's a good one. Okay, and then we got a nice little gap, and then right around there is going to be our tent. So we've got our market tents that we're going to use, I think. We don't want them to be the beat up ones. So doesn't really do what I want it to, but we might be able to tweak some settings. So I kind of like the idea of it being like these ones over here, but let's do see if we can't make that red instead. Quite doing what I want. Just want like a deeper color. That actually might not be bad. I just need to figure out a better red. Let's try that, and then we're going to transform. And let's see if we like it better that way. I think that'll be fine. And then we have another gap, and this is brushing right up against the cliffs. This one is a 6x3. We know that these are going to have to move back a little bit because they're starting to impede against that. And then we've got 2x4 here. And we just got to remember that we have to separate those rooms. Right over here we have our 2x3. Okay, and here we've got our 2x5. 5. Doing a lot of time just making walls. Okay, that one is a 5x2 and a 4x8. One the way there. Let's see. So we've got. I gotta remember to cut that out after I'm done. So we made it halfway in between these ones. Got a 3, a 3. And then right over here, we've got a 3 and a 3. And then here's the big one down here. So right around here, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here, it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 4. One extra little 2 over here. Almost done. And then we've got one up from here and one over. We've got our 4x2. That little guy right there. 3, 2, 3, and then right there is our 6. Alright, so at that point, we've got everything that I think we need. Oh, wait a minute. This right here, and then we were going to put something here. Let's try and see. Let's save real quick and then try and think of a stamp before we close the other 3 sections of this map. And actually, before we do anything, we might grab some of those other stamps and see what we can do. Let's grab these ugly trees. Don't need to do it like that. Just grab that one there and throw one up. There, I guess. Not exactly how we planned, but that's perfectly fine. And yeah, let's see what kind of round thing we can do. We've got parasols. We got a roof like that. Way too big. Still way too big. Maybe we can make out like that's a grain silo or something. So to that extent, maybe we can change the color. Something like that, and then just dial back the saturation a smidge. All right, and let's get rid of that stamp. We don't need that. We'll cut the rest of this stuff down a smidge. We don't need any of that. Let's do this just to help speed things up. We are going to resize so that we just have the original 2 maps, the one that we jumped off of and the new one that we're working on. And let's look at this map real quick. It really does, like, there's nothing over on that side. There is, so you'll see if we were going to go even further left, we've got a little bit of an indication that there's more cliff that kind of tumbles down, so we would have to do the same thing that we're doing here. Even further up, there's another layer of cliff before you get to the palace. I don't even know what I would do with the palace, because that's going to be a fun experience all on its own, and it probably wouldn't look exactly like this. We would probably expand on it a decent amount so that it could be its own encounter or something like that. But anyway, let's come in here. We'll resize the map. I think that's it. We want to snap to the grid and bring that back to 80, so that's good, and 20 is good, so that's good. Let's do that so that we're not losing any of the stamps or anything. And we're not going to put a lot of mileage on this one, unfortunately, but it's perfectly fine. We've got, what is it? This is the 48th map. After this is going to be the damaged bridge over the Foggy Chasm, and then the Savannah 1 South. So we have, essentially, in order for me to get this to 50 before our convention, we've got 9 days to pull that off. Now we got a 3-day weekend, so life gets a little bit easier after that. And then I've already put some of the work into, obviously, this one, and some of the work into the Foggy Bridge, because we've already tested some of that out and everything like that. So I feel like we're in good shape. A lot of what I'm going to be doing is just putting up walls, like I always do. What I might do is we'll end this here, and then I'll close up the show real quick. I wanted to play Spider-Man yesterday, but didn't end up playing it. Rihanna, you're paying attention, right? Did you fall asleep? Do I hear snoring down there? I think you fell asleep. My voice has been so soft, it's been making people fall asleep. All right, I think what we'll do actually is I'll wrap up today. We're not going to play Spider-Man today either. That might be a tomorrow or a Friday thing. And I might go downstairs and play Headbangers. I might go down and play a game with Rihanna or something like that. So we're just going to wrap things up today. I'm not even going to really spend a lot of time talking about the show closing stuff, but let's head over there real quick and we'll just do a real quick drop of that. So on the screen right now, you can see all the places that you can find Tellest stuff. You can find us at Tellest.com. That's where we put all the Tellest stuff that you can find. It's like our little link tree. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can go to get these maps in high def and the new variants and things like that. If you want to check these videos out after Twitch purges them from the platform, you can go to youtube.com/@worldoftellest. But if you do want to see it live, twitch.tv/thattellestguy. The Tellest Etsy store, which is tellest.etsy.com. That's where you can get physical versions of our maps. Did it make you fall asleep, though? Because I asked you certain questions and you didn't answer, and then I thought I heard you snore down there. In addition to the game maps and things like that, we also have posters, stickers, bookmarks. Quantum Quest is there, and the art book and things like that. A lot of good stuff there. And then finally, the last two things that you can do is find some of our TikTok content. So we've got Tales of Tellest, that's Tails. That is over, excuse me, had a brain fart. That is content for our 3 dogs. That's really adorable. I think they just hit 4,700 followers today. So you can be 4701 if it hasn't already passed that. And then the other one is you can watch Rihanna's videos for her Weird Witch wands, and that's WYRD. We are going to be selling those in person at PhilCon next week. So you get to see some of those wands before they disappear off of the Etsy store. Yeah, you'll always see those videos on TikTok, but you'll see them before they're snatched up by somebody. So that's going to be it for now. I am going to wrap up and head downstairs, and we'll try and see if I can get into this tomorrow. I've got my last session of physical therapy, so we'll see how that affects things. But anyway, hope you had a good time. I miss you.